Hey guys, this is Malinki. Welcome back to my channel Voice of Malinki. Today we will talk about origin of reptiles, and if you are new in my channel, please subscribe my channel, and if you like my video, please do like, comment and share my video. Okay, so we have studied about geological time scale, right? So if you don't know about it, no problem. You just try to understand that here was an era. The era was actually Paleozoic. Paleozoic era. So that era was divided into some periods. Among them, Carboniferous was one period. It was Carboniferous period. So Carboniferous was one period. During that period, reptiles evolved. Reptiles evolved, and reptiles evolved from amphibians. Right? Now, amphibians are such animals who stay in both water and land. But reptiles are such animals who survive in lands only. So, to maintain the whole life in land, amphibians had to bring some changes in their anatomical as well as morphological features. So, there was some changes in anatomical as well as morphological features. So what are those changes? So first, they developed epidermal scales. See, when these animals used to stay in water, they did not have any chance of losing moisture from their body, right? Because they were in water bodies only. But when they transformed into reptiles, they had to do something to prevent water loss from their body. In order to prevent that, they developed thick, hard scales. So that is first change. Second, amphibian skull was dicondylic type, which transformed into monocondylic type. So dicondylic means having two condyles on occipital, whereas monocondylic means a skull having only one condyle on occipital. Okay, so what is occipital condyle? So the occipital condyle is a rounded projection that is present on the posterior part of our skull. So it is present in this posterior part of our skull, and few smaller bones are there which accumulate to make this structure. And the skull is bound by the first vertebrae of the spinal column. So what is the first vertebrae of the spinal column? That is atlas. Atlas is the first vertebra of spinal column, and the skull, it is bound by this atlas with the help of those condyles. And the condyle, what they do, they allow the head to move from side to side, right, like that and that, or up and down. So this condyle allows the head to move from side to side, up and down, as well as to rotate also. So monocondylic skull is found in birds and reptiles, whereas dicondyle skull is found in mammals and amphibia. So this is second feature. Next, during the transformation, limb bones and girdles became stronger. So there are two types of girdles. Two types of girdles are present. Those are shoulder girdle and pelvic girdle. These two girdles connect upper and lower limbs to the bones along the axis of the body. So that is girdle. So what is girdle? They actually connect upper and lower limbs to the bones along the axis of the body. So shoulder girdle, basically it connects upper limbs, and pelvic girdle connects lower limbs to the main axis of the body. So that is one more change. And then sacrum. So the sacrum became stronger to support the body weight on hind legs. So the sacrum is present. Where it is present? It is present in pelvic girdle. So it is a large triangular bone that is present between hip bones. That is sacrum, and it became stronger to support the body weight on hind legs. That is one more transformation. Next, fingers developed claws. So amphibians did not have claws in their fingers, whereas reptilias or reptiles had claws, and these were used during their climbing on rocks. Next, lung respiration became efficient because amphibians breathe through lungs as well as skin, right? Amphibians respire through lungs and skin. When they are in water, they respire through skin also. But reptiles respire only via lungs. Therefore, their lungs became more efficient. Next, nitrogenous waste in amphibian was urea. So, in case of amphibians, nitrogenous waste was urea. Whereas in reptiles, it was uric acid. Uric acid did not require water for excretion. This was the strategy for water conservation. If reptiles produced urea, which is more toxic, they would have to release more water to excrete urea from their body. Otherwise, it would have damaged their kidneys. So producing uric acid instead of urea is advantageous because it is less toxic and reduces water loss. Okay. Next, internal fertilization. Internal fertilization evolved. Reptiles were no more dependent on water bodies for laying eggs. They invented a large yolk. So they invented the egg which had large yolk. This is the yolk. Okay, so yolk filled and it had the shell also. So the egg was filled with yolk and it had shell. So that could be laid on land and in which an amniotic sac. So it also had the amniotic sac. This is the amniotic sac. And this amniotic sac contained fluid in which embryo could develop while having food for their development. So in the amniotic sac, it had the embryo. And the fertilization was internal. So this is one more transformation. Now about 250 million years ago, during Carboniferous period, some labyrinthodont amphibians gradually transformed into reptiles. So these earliest reptiles are called stem reptiles or Cotylosaura. Actually, labyrinthodont possessed characteristically folded teeth. They had a special type of folded teeth, hence the name is labyrinthodont. They have special type of folded teeth. But this transformation was so gradual that it is sometimes difficult to decide whether they are advanced amphibians or primitive reptiles. Now, ancestry through Simoria. So, Simoria was one of the members of Cotylosaura. So, this is Simoria. This is drawn by me. Now, it was a lizard-like animal. It was 60 centimeter long with a thick body. You can see this has the thick body. And it had a small pointed head. So, the head was small, pointed because this part is pointed. And it had dorsally placed nostrils. So nostrils were placed dorsally, that means in the back part of their body. So in this back part of their body they had nostrils. And they had very short tail. You can see short tail. They were Simoria. So it had few reptilian features including single occipital condyle. So it had single occipital condyle. Structures of Simoria was intermediate between the amphibians of that time and the early reptiles. Between amphibian and reptiles. Now another member of Cortylosauria was Limnocelly. Limnocelly, this is Limnocelly, this is again drawn by me. So Limnocelly was found in Mexico and it was 5 feet long. It had a long tail, you can see long tail it had. It had the elongated body, so that also we can see that it has the long elongated body, and flat skull. The skull is here flat, and it had large premaxillary teeth. So the premaxillary teeth is one of the most common features of early reptiles, but seldom it was seen in amphibians. So premaxillary teeth was found in upper jaws. So if this is the, suppose this is the upper jaw, this is the lower jaw. So here they had teeth. These are premaxillary teeth. Right? So some workers believe that Cortylosauria were ancestral to all reptiles. Cortylosauria were ancestors of all reptiles. They were separated into 2 divergent evolutionary lines, like that. So these were Theropsida and Sauropsida. Now, Limnocelly was actually primitive member of Theropsida. And it led to mammal-like reptiles. And ultimately to mammals. So that is about Theropsida. And the other line was Sauropsida, and it represented remaining reptiles and birds. So that is all about origin of reptiles.